Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Duval Dive. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game.
And I'm Travis Holmes with BigCatCountry.com.
And you listen to this thing on the Believe Podcast Network. And our favorite guests, at least as the number would say, is piling up another one. Jamal Saints here. News for Jax. He made the mistake of saying, "Oh, I'll come back for that." Well, we knew you'd pull you in, Humpy Bumpy. Welcome in, Jamal.
Yeah.
Glad to help.
Hey, appreciate y'all having me on. We said we'd talk again before the draft, so here we are. I mean, it's about the end of the time to do it. So
yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I had the same conversation on Locked On UCF where we talked about Malachi Lawrence. I'm sure his name will get dropped up here at least at some point, allegedly. So all that being said, see, I'm not the only one that does plugs anymore, right? I know Travis has Big Cat Country, so that's a whole thing there too. Now everybody's got their plugs. It's great. Right out the gate, before we get into the actual starting of the mock draft, which will be here quickly and soon, we know you guys here in the Duval Devout and you Duval divers out there are looking for our final mock draft. That is coming. Everybody, thank God mock season's almost over, says John G. Hey, listen,
you love mock season.
I got too much going on, man. I got Magic playoffs. I have the Storm Surge podcast of the UFL. I need to unload something, guys. But enough about my personal life. Here it is. The way that Travis puts it, and I like the reference to the movie Draft Day in all its cheesy glory. Your no matter what prospect of 2026. Now, Jamal Travis told me it's a name I didn't expect. I thought for sure it was Jacob Rodriguez.
For me? No, you'll like mine.
Okay.
You'll like mine.
I think you'll like mine too, because as much as you and Travis has talked about him, I feel compelled to pound the table.
You'll be proud of me, is what I'll say. How about that?
All right, no. You know what? Let him loose. Go ahead, Jamal. Who is your no matter what prospect of the 2026 class?
No matter what, Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech, the guard. No matter what, you want to run the ball?
Guarded interior-old lineman. That's hot.
Come on now.
Sorry.
Gotta get him hot, man. Look, if you want to run the ball, you got to go get a big nasty, man. You got to go get a big nasty, and he is a finisher of blocks. You want to talk about last year, the screen game was a struggle. You go get a guy that's going to steamroll somebody out in space. People are going to be making business decisions. They see Rutledge rolling toward him. I watched him run the 40-yard dash at the combine, and I don't really care about the numbers, but that was the first time I really saw him. And I looked at him and I said, how does this dude not have the nickname Big Country? I don't know who missed it as a teammate, but his nickname should be Big Country. I don't know why, but he just fits.
I'm not mad at that at all, but I'll put it this way. If you like a guy that's Big Country, as much as I've heard you and Travis talk about this man, I want Big Bayou in the building. It's going to guarantee that they got a second defensive tackle. And the performance he made against Power 5 teams, you guys talked about that. But when Emory Hunt even tripled down, which I do and Travis, Caleb Proctor has made the list for me. I want to see him in the building as at least the second defensive tackle, if you can, in fact, pull that off. Listen, you said it before. You had my interest. When Travis and Emory Hunt double and tripled down, now you have my attention. Yes. So, with all that in mind, how could I say no to any of the above? And again, having his best work against power schools is a big deal to me. That's all I could say. Of course, he impressed during the Shrine Bowl,
Yeah, man. Impressed in the Shrine Bowl, 8 sacks in 2025. He shows all the traits. Like I thought that was a really good one. That was a really good selection. And honestly, when Jamal said, Jesus, when Jamal came out and I'm like, wait, Rutledge, bro. I didn't even think about that one. It wasn't even on my radar. It legitimately hadn't been on my radar. I had an audible, ooh, like after he sent the message, because I had to prepare for it to get the graphic right. And I'm like, I didn't know how to enter an inner O-line coach in me, but apparently I do. Because
welcome to the dark side, boys.
He's freaking good, bro. He's a top 5 guard in this class, and we got some folks projecting he may even be the best center in this draft class, which I thought was interesting. The NFL personnel evaluator referred to ESPN Jeremy Fowler said he's an O-line coach's dream, a dirtball, And he played at Georgia Tech, and that they got a variety in their run game. So, like, he's a strong option if you're looking to flip this Jacksonville running game from mostly zone, which is what it was in 2025, to mostly power gap schemes. 6'0", 320. I love a pick, bro. I got no there. Mine.
We got.
I'm biased, but I'm always biased. But today it won't be from UCF. I'm going, hey, Landon Robinson, Navy, no matter what. And obviously you could tell, I'm black. I'm the darkest one on the panel, so I got the darkest hand here. So that's how we get down.
Is that the Charlie Murphy defense you just did right there?
No, but this one wasn't hard for me, bro. Like, it really wasn't. Like, you've all heard me talk about Landon Robinson over this past like month and a half at this point. And honestly, I wanted to let the listeners know, but a little bit behind the curtain, like, we were this freaking close to having him on the pod a few weeks ago, because we talk on the socials, like him and I, and he was just like, "Hey, I love what you putting out." I think he liked the fact that I've been championing him because I actually I like his game. And it just didn't work out after going through all the official channels to try to get everything approved. It just took too long, and draft is already here, man. But yeah, he's coming from Navy. Like, you already know you're going to be a little bit underrated in the offseason process. He had a big week at the East Shrine Bowl. Slippery the block. He was giving them boys work all week. Like, if you saw the reports, you kind of know what that was. And he was top 10 in the country in pressures among interior D linemen last year at 34. Yep. So he's a mid to late round guy. You mean to tell me the dude that works out with Aaron Donald, I might have a chance to get them on the team? That dude say, I like to work out when I'm not playing ball and my squat is 700 pounds. You're going to get the intangibly rich award right there just by saying that in public. So that's where I'm going. If you get that dude in the 4th round to maybe even the 7th round range as an All-American, that sounds like a dude that's like gonna have a chip on his shoulder and one of those underdogs. I'm all in on trying that.
Absolutely. I mean, that one's a no-brainer. I mean, and half of being an NFL player is knowing how to handle yourself in life and dealing with football. And you get a guy from Navy, you know what you don't have to worry about, him getting in trouble off the field. So go ahead and take that part out of it immediately. So when you start talking about Jaguar DNA, they're gonna look for guys that are all about ball. And that's what he's about. He loves to work out. I mean, he's explosive on the field. Jaguars have already clearly scouted the Navy defense since they got one guy in the building already. So I'm just saying it stands to reason. There's no doubt they've seen Landon Robinson.
The organizational thing you talk about is absolutely correct, Jamal. And then, listen, covering UCF as long as I have, back when they were still in the American and regularly playing Navy, to constantly hear, playing these guys is weird. I don't know what to do because they don't talk. The lack of trash talk, even among the DBs, is absolutely insane. And it gets in people. I said what I said, Travis. You know I'm right. So
I'm sure, though. That don't make it all right, but all right. No, man. But it's weird because the analysts are all split on him too. Which again, that's not the point of our conversation. I just thought it was really interesting. Like, you got people saying that this dude has 2nd round talent, and you got other people saying this dude can be undrafted. There is no consensus there on if you're looking at all the different mock draft projections. So, like, for me, I'm like, yeah, you take a chance at that guy if you can get him in the late 4th, all the way up to the 6th round. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. But
look, at this point, draft projections are all over the place. I would be shocked. Look, I know Navy guys don't get drafted often. He's getting drafted. He's getting drafted. He had production at a position that is in a weak draft class. This isn't a great defensive tackle draft. There's not a whole lot of them that got after the quarterback. Landon Robinson did that on the football field. His workout numbers are absolutely insane for a guy his size. The NFL, at some point, someone is going to take a bet on that guy because there's not anybody else in this class. And the quickest way to the quarterback is a straight line, and it always will be. So the Jaguars fans aren't the only ones talking about needing interior pressure and interior pass rush. Someone's going to take a bet. If he goes undrafted, I will be floored.
So we'll leave that at that. I don't know that there's much pepper we can add to that. Now, something we need to make sure we ask you, Jamal, going into this, because a few things have changed since our very first mock 1.0, of which you were a part. Now, thank you again, by the way, for bookending the mocks this season here on the Duval Dive.
First and last.
Correct. So since then, a lot of things have happened, right? Trayvon Walker got his extension. Dennis Gardeck was extended, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Your top 5 needs for the Jags heading into the draft. Now, obviously, you've addressed the offensive line. I'm very happy about that. But so that's clearly one of your 5.
Yes.
What are the others?
Yeah, in no particular order. Offensive line's definitely on there. I'd say defensive tackle twice because you need both of the spots. You need 3 tech, you need 1 tech. Right now, you got Devon Hamilton basically on a big island by himself. Like, who else you got in that same room? 3 tech, you traded for Ruka Rororo, but that doesn't change the conversation. Like, it's still not out of the woodworks that maybe you make a cap saving move on June 1st for Eric Armstead. And Rook shouldn't be considered just a solution. Like he's a part of the rotation and part of the solution, but he's not going to solve the problem all on its own. And if you decided, we could save this cap space to do other things, then you got to have another body in there. It can't just be Rook. So I say defensive tackle twice, linebacker, you still got to add a guy there, and tight end.
Fair enough. A couple things in the comments I thought I'd throw out here that'll add to the conversation here. Show. First of all, shouts to Leonard Griffin making his first live, man. Glad to have you aboard for this one, for sure, man. This is a good one to do it. Your first live, our last mock of 2026. It works out nicely. PJ Brown calling for help. He's done 600 mock drafts. I believe there are support groups out there for you, PJ. So there's
PJ Brown. Is that the former Hornets power forward?
I was
deep in the weeds with that, man. Come on now.
Paul, for sure. But, listen, in PJ's case, though, we want him to fix this addiction because apparently his gambling betting on the Jags has gone particularly well thus far. Anyway.
It really
has. Timmy Devil, speaking of NBA polls, this will probably be the last time the Magic are in the playoffs. Bro, listen, if you feel like you could predict the Magic, you might be the only one in the state that thinks so. Good for you, Timmy Devil. Let's see. Quickly to Tapa in the building. It's interesting that most mock draft simulators have Peter Woods, Caleb Banks are dipping into the second round. Could we see another edge and tackle heavy first round? I think that's on the board, especially with the lack of depth as we talk about at the defensive tackle spot. I'm even seeing comments in here, though I think this is way too high for him. Alex says trade up for Malachi Lawrence. No, I don't know about all that.
I like Malachi, but and he was this close to being one of my, no matter what guys, but no, I can't see it.
Yeah, I gotcha. I think there's definitely something to that. Somebody in here had Xavier Desori, Preston, as his no matter what guy, linebacker from Arkansas. Tapa asks about Zane Durant. Not sure if you guys have an opinion on
explosive, undersized guy, same kind of vein. Didn't have a crazy productive season last year, but nobody on Penn State did.
Yeah,
basically.
I can't put it
productive.
Better than that.
Smaller. That's it. You got it.
Fair enough. And then so with all that in place, let's see. What were the other weaknesses there that you were wanting to see addressed in the draft, Jamal?
Me? Both defensive tackle spots, linebacker. I think they need a backup tight end, O-line.
Hey, he's got the tight end on his list too. Let's go.
He didn't say outside cornerback, I heard. I didn't hear him say outside cornerback.
I did not say outside cornerback. I did not say. I think they need to add a corner, but I don't think that's in my top 5.
Is it 6?
Yeah, it's right there on the line to add somebody in the secondary. I mean, I think they have a bunch of options. I mean, Travis Hunter's going to play a bunch. You got Buster built in there a little bit. Jarian's been inside out. They're expecting Jay Lou to be ready to go for the season. So, you're okay-ish because whoever you add at outside corner could quickly find themselves buried on a depth chart. So,
okay. I won't argue it. I'm passionate, and I would definitely like to argue it, but I'm not going to argue it today.
I want corners. I get it. You want corners.
I want corners. You got it.
Exactly. It's the health concerns that make that ambiguous. I'm with Travis on that part. For sure. I get
this offseason program.
Now, gentlemen, here's the thing, and there's a comment that addresses this, and it's in. I tabled it purposely.
The Daniel Kilkenny comment, right? Was it this one? I've heard talks about the Jaguars picking Price in the second.
No, but that one's just as good. Go ahead.
Oh, all right, cool. Daniel Kilkenny. I've heard about the Jaguars picking Price in the second, Jadarian Price. Why? He's nearly identical to Tootin in measurables. He might have better contact balance. He would be the 7th running back in Jacksonville. All right, obviously tongue-in-cheek exaggeration alert, but I understand the general point that he's making. And for those who haven't, heard the report from Tony Pauline, basically stated that the Jaguars don't have a first round pick this year as a result of the trade up for Travis Hunter. They do own 3 picks all in the 3rd round. They can use that for ammunition to move closer to the front. I'm told if a running back Jadarian Price starts to slip in round 2, the Jaguars will attempt to package picks and make a move to draft the Notre Dame Jr. Otherwise, they'll use one of those 3rd round selections on a running back, possibly Emmett Johnson of Nebraska, who they like. Thoughts on that, Jamal?
Look, it doesn't surprise me that they're going to draft a running back at some point. I've said it from the beginning. Like, Chris Rodriguez is the same conversation about Ruka Rororo. This would be absolute hubris to say that he stops you from doing something. This is a guy that the Washington Commanders didn't even tender. If the Jaguars look people in the face and said, he's our answer at running back, can't do anything else because we got this guy, that would be absolute hubris. I mean, you can't get past that. They like Tootin, but what has Tootin done to earn no conversation?
Facts.
Same thing about LaQuint Allen. LaQuint is in a conversation, but what has he done to say that you're going to have to win this job? That's the same thing they had done in LA when they've drafted running backs repeatedly. I mean, think about Blake Corum. That was a high round draft pick to be the backup. And they kept him on the bench, but there's a competition. You're going to have to earn the right to start and get the ball. Look, it won't surprise me if they go and get one of these guys. I don't think I would. I don't think that's what I would do personally. But
yeah,
it wouldn't shock me. Like, again, Liam Cohen likes the idea of everything looking the same on offense and not having to dictate personnel dictate to the defense what he wants to do. So that means you need to do it all kind of running back. For as much as we're going to do a timeshare, look at what he did with Travis Etienne last year, where he tried to let Etienne be the bell cow, and you brought LaQuint in known passing situations as a pass blocker, and he really sprinkled in Tootin when he had to. That's the preferred way, because then the defense don't know if you're passing, they don't know if you're running. He just wants to trot personnel out there and make the defense guess, because everything looks exactly the same. So all of this situational running back stuff, he really doesn't want to have to get into that bag, which means you got to have the guy at running back, not just a guy.
Right. But that's why I thought this was weird, because everyone, and I agree with Florida Made Topo, who says this is a smoke screen.
Yeah.
On some level, I think, because everybody's focused on the Jadarian part of the Jadarian Price part of the conversation, which is the trade up for a running back into some portion of the 2nd round. And I'm more focused on the Emmett Johnson part, because from my perspective, you don't trade away Tank Bigsby in early 2024 and then trade up for Price in the 2026 draft. Like, I know there are obviously different players. Huh?
Are you comparing?
They're not necessarily the same thing, but bear with me, because as good as he was, and he was good as a second back in the Notre Dame backfield. Goodness gracious, he only had 7 receptions last year. He only has 15 catches in his career, and 12 of those was behind the line of scrimmage. Like, he's not a 3-down running back. He's not even great in pass protection as far as that's concerned. He's giving you no visual evidence of that in college. So, I'm not demeaning him, because I'm saying he was dang good running the ball on the ground. I just think they're not going to end up trading up for a guy less than a calendar year after trading away a guy who had major limitations in all 3 areas of the ball, of playing football, basically, as a running back. That's what made it smoke screaming to me. I was thinking about Emmett Johnson. He's a 3-down dude for me, from my perspective, who's shown you both in the passing game and the running game.
Do you think Price has limitations because you've seen them on the field, or because he hasn't had the opportunity to show you that he doesn't have limitations?
I think that's a blind dart throw at that point. And I think that's okay to say that, if that makes sense. If a guy has 15 targets and only 3 of them have been beyond the line of scrimmage, and none of them have been past 5 yards down the field. Those are the exact stats for him in the passing game. That screams to me that he probably is not. There's probably a limitation there, if that makes sense. And I'm okay saying that that's an assumption on my part because I literally just have not seen it. And to talk about trading up and using resources to get that guy, that's a big ask for me.
Sure. Look, I'm not the biggest Price fan. I'm not the biggest Emmett Johnson fan either. I think both of them have strengths to their game, but overall, like, I don't think Price is a glaring weakness. Like, look, he was a backup running back behind the guy who's going to go in probably the top 10, maybe top 5 in this draft, Jeremiah Love. Like, I wouldn't take him off the field either. Like, in today's day and age, he chose to stay there and do that. And he showed he was dynamic in ways when he got opportunities on the field and when he got a chance to kickoff return. Am I saying that makes him a second-round draft pick? Not necessarily. That's why I'm saying I don't think I'd pick him. But, like, when you start talking about the volume, like, look, sometimes guys are just the eye test, man. Like, I remember watching Alvin Kamara at Tennessee, and I said, that dude's good when he got the opportunity. The opportunities just weren't there often. The Saints drafted him. The rest is history. You know who has more rushing yards in college than Alvin Kamara? Jadarian Price.
All right. Well, to be clear, that's a major question mark to be trading up for a guy when there's a guy who I have less questions on. Because, again, if I'm looking at the tape of both of those guys, I see the top 2 guys in, like, rushing yards over expectation just have in this draft class just happen to come from the same offense. And then I look at their games, and half of their rushes, they're not being touched until they're 5 yards down the field. I'm like, all right, cool. So a lot of that's the offensive line. Some of that is the running back because, like, he still does make those missed tackles. Like, I'm willing to say both things are true, but also – we've had the conversation just on the side, like, hey, we've all heard the general rumors about the team having an interest in Price over the past, let's say, few weeks. That's also what screams to me. Whereas with Johnson, they had a virtual interview, right? Like, they actually reportedly had a virtual interview with him.
Well, let me jump in because the interviews don't matter. The interviews the Jaguars do absolutely don't matter. The guys that they're having interviews with are guys that they have some sort of question mark about that they need answered. So, like, think about last year's draft class. All of them dudes straight up said, I ain't told the Jaguars. I didn't even know they was looking at me. This organization operates in an absolute gray area. And, I mean, Josh Hines Allen said it at his press conference earlier this week. He said, it's the team that you ain't even think was interested in you. That's the one that's going to call your phone. That's what he stood at the podium and said. At the virtual interview, that's why they don't bring guys in. They don't do a local pro day. They don't care. They're going based on football field. Interview means that there was something behind door number 1 that they said, we need some more information. What was this about? Your homework had one of them AI dashes in it. That's ChatGPT right there, dog. It was something like that.
That's fair. Like, again, you make all the valid points, so I'm not gonna be the one to argue that. But I thought when I was looking at the rush yards over expectation,
I don't think they're gonna do it. Like, I don't think they're
gonna. Neither do I. I don't think they're gonna trade up for a guy, but I actually do believe that they're going. I believe the Emmett Johnson piece of the conversation because I saw a comp on the Price conversation that stated that he was comp based on his rushing yards over expectation, his limited receiving profile, special teams ability, and it was basically like all of that mixed in together, and they comped him to Zach Evans, and I'm like, Zach Evans, wait, why do I recognize that name? And I'm like, oh my god, like that was the guy who the Rams drafted back in 2023, and I'm like, and these guys have their specific types, like great analytics, great rushing yards over expectation. So it just threw me off for a little bit as soon as I read it, and I was just like, okay, that's interesting. But with the Emmett Johnson thing, like, if you drafting that dude, you doing more man gap stuff off rip. That's the goal at least. Maybe they're gonna draft the offensive lineman later down the line because that was a weird, rough Nebraska offense after the quarterback gets hurt. I believe it was the USC game, and he's still out there balling out of control. Like, he's out there. Still a 200-yard game in his final game when they getting the break speed off of them. He's still doing all the quote unquote intangibly rich stuff, despite the fact that they weren't great. They wasn't. They had a struggling backup quarterback doing this thing, and he gets 1,800 total yards, 15 touchdowns, 5.8 on the ground. Like, I could see that one because he's kind of doing it despite the fact that they're losing 5 or 7 games in blowout fashion. that feels like a kind of guy who might be on their radar. That made sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that he's on their radar in some form or fashion. I mean, he's explosive, he's slippery. I mean, there's not many knocks to his game. Besides, I mean, I guess the Jags don't care about 40 time; they care about GPS time. Like that's what people have knocked him for. Oh, maybe he's not explosive. Did he run away from people? Did he run away from high level competition? Like, look, that's what he did. So, like, I don't hate Emmett Johnson. I mean, I don't know that I'd seek him out, maybe. But look, I think they're going to add a running back. I wouldn't hate the Emmett Johnson, but I don't think I'd like it at 56. But
I had a theory, and I had a theory, and I wanted your opinion of.
Yeah.
Take a look at all the running backs drafted in the second round since 2021. You got Javonte Williams in 2021. You got Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, James Cook in 2022, Zenith Charbonnet in 23, Jonathan Brooks in 24, Trevon Henderson, Quinshawn Jenkins, Amarion Hampton, and RJ Harvey all last year.
Yep.
Like, that's a solid group of guys for the second round. And I was wondering, that's all the guys who's been drafted since Jimmy Gladstone's has been on the personnel side, back in 2020. Is there any chance that Jimmy Stone's is kind of like adjusting from last year's draft and kind of looking to be more aggressive to get this running back in the second round after they reportedly missed out on RJ Harvey, who Denver got at the end of that second round at pick 60?
Maybe. Look, I mean, honestly, there's options, right? If you're going to get a running back, you got to go get a running back. A lot of those guys were semi-sure things, I feel like. A lot of them were highly thought of, but they were devalued because of the position, quote unquote. So they slid into the second round for one reason or another. Some of them, sure, there were questions about, but I just don't feel like this year's class, like if Jadarian Price or Emmett Johnson or RB2, like I don't know if I feel the same way as I feel about half the running backs on that list, or I felt like when they were coming out. Like, I mean, here, who would you rather have? I know you're higher on Emmett Johnson or RJ Harvey.
Oh, that's hard because I see UCF bias, but we're gonna go with I got you. Amarion Hampton, that's close to me. I would need to relook back that. I'm talking about college film to college film. I think it's actually close to me.
Look, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think Hampton was a more physical running back. Like, I just don't see that. Like,
I think Johnson's more elusive. I think he's
they're different runners. They're absolutely different runners, and that's not a like good bad thing. They're just very different. So it's that one's a tougher comp. I'll give you that. But to the point of, I don't know, and this is a weak draft class, so maybe if you feel strongly about one of those guys, you go get them. I don't know that I feel I just don't look at either one of them and say, man, they're can't miss. And I feel like some of those running backs, you were looking at them and you were like, how did this guy get out of the first round? This guy floor is going to be in the league for 10 years doing this thing. Like they had a superpower.
That's fair. That's a fair way of putting it. Sorry, Nash. All right, so I know we're getting to that point, sir.
You don't have to apologize to me. I mean, the title of the thing is mock draft, and we're damn near 30 minutes in because you're arguing whatever this is about running backs. It's
we're preparing for 56, so you can fire up the mock draft, and we don't have to go to it.
That's it.
Is that what it was? Is that what? Because that's literally actually kind of what happened too. Let's be real. No, but a couple comments I want to address here too. Preston says should have just kept in, and Braun Miller in the comments. Why not get a veteran like Kamara? Guys, they're trying to save money. They're not trying to pay a running back like that. First of all, Alvin Kamara is no longer a running back. He is a slot receiver that lines up in the backfield. I said what I said. Okay. So there's that. And yeah, you weren't keeping Etienne at that price. That wasn't happening. Remember, you're still falling out from under the bulky Capel situation. Let's be clear about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And Kamara's under contract.
So now you'd have to trade assets for him. So if we're done with that, that would be great. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Jamal. I will offer consideration as a fine host, but
I mean, he might get cut.
If they draft a running back, he could. Yeah, that's actually not.
Yeah, I mean, there's arguments down there about drafting Jeremiah Love, and they already got Travis Etienne. Like, I can't imagine.
And I wouldn't even try to throw this much smoke, but Tapa's right. Kamara's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season.
How many yards he got from scrimmage?
More than 1,000, but it's
matters.
from 4 to 600.
How often was he split in the backfield with another 1,000-yard rusher?
And he doesn't have Sean Payton.
You talking to somebody from New Orleans, so I know.
Talking to a Saints fan. Yeah, you were I'm telling Jamal. You can't say that to a Saints fan, bro.
My in-laws have their own problem with it. It was awkward when I showed them a picture of Kamara I got in the Pro Bowl, and I proceeded to then remind them. Anyways, let's get into this draft, gentlemen. So here's the whole thing, guys. And I don't know. I'm already throwing shade at this, as one could see that somehow or another Caleb Banks has fallen here at 56. I call shenanigans. Anthony Hill is here at 52. I'm mentioning names that you guys have gotten stoked about in the past, both on your Twitter accounts and on this show. And yeah, guys, I mean, Banks is right there. If I have a vote, I'm gonna tell you that. Can
you show me who's left below this though? I got questions. I'm still because I'm still scared of that foot with Banks, but
Oscar Delp at tight end is another thing we've been talking about. Caleb Tiernan, the offensive tackle out of Northwestern's there. Cassius Howell, the edge rusher out of A&M.
Grayson Halton has risen.
Grayson Halton is predicted at 66 here. To your point, Julian Neal, a guy that you've gotten a lot of love for. Travis is forecasted at 65, etc.
Now I know where I'm leaning. Do you have a lean on this on this current group of guys, Jamal?
I'm kind of disappointed in you.
I thought you
were going to be banging the table for Terrell.
Avion Terrell is currently available at the
Which
top.
I'm confused that he's on the board at 56, but I was surprised that wasn't the first thing out your mouth.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't looked at him much. So because of that, I don't have
an opinion. Supposed to be there.
I can't have an opinion. I can't have a real strong opinion on it.
That's fair. For me,
I talk about what I know.
For me, the name would be Cassius Howell. I'm surprised he's still on the board. His one superpower is the one thing that the Jaguars need is a speed rusher. You add that, and you have a three-headed beast with Josh, Trayvon, and Cassius Howell. He enables them to go and be fresher by adding him out there. You can put him on the field on third down, gives you flexibility to slide Trayvon inside the defensive tackle, which also helps with the interior pressure problem. If you want to make a run in the playoffs, you got to get to the quarterback. Cassius Howell is going to get to the quarterback.
Yeah. I don't have any real pushback because, I mean, for me, it was between Howell, Banks, and the medical, and I just can't make myself feel comfortable with it. And Oscar Delp, it just felt too rich for my blood, but I do like the player. Like, I really do like the player. So it's kind of just making a choice. And to that point, I think the Jaguars the team and Jaguar fans have lived long enough without a rotational edge. Congratulations, guys. You finally got one.
Interesting. Yeah, look, I wouldn't I absolutely wouldn't flinch at Banks. Like, I'm not worried about the foot not one bit, but in this situation, Cassius Howell on the board, I just think he's the easier fit and probably the safer player. This is a little bit of a safe
impact.
As you can tell, I'm having trouble finding him again.
61.
You want my bond? 61. Yeah,
there he is. So yeah, much to my surprise, I'm going to go away from the board for a bit to look at the comments to see what's going on. Edges will be Banks or Terrell. Says Preston. Edges will be there at 81, claims Preston. I kind of agree with that.
Which is possible, but will Cassius Howell be there at 81?
And right. Cassius Howell for you is the sale. We
can look at the edges that are on the board.
Yeah. I will
take a look at the edges on the board right now, because I'm sure it probably won't be comparable if you want to have that conversation. Because Derek Moore ain't a slouch, like, for sure.
Right.
And Romello Height, many people don't like him, but people are really split on Romello Height because
Height scares me. Scares me because he's undersized and he had 1 year of production on a Texas Tech team that was stacked on the defensive line with attention going to all the other guys. So Height scares me. Derek Moore is fine, but he's not different from what the Jaguars have.
And to your point,
different.
Yeah, to your point, if you see a guy like Hal that you're that excited about, 25 picks is a long time to wait. Granted, maybe you package 88 and 100 to jump up there if you think someone's interested. I get it, but
now if there was an edge that I really on this list, he's ranked low for them, but Barham from Michigan, if you wanted to say you wanted to upgrade Dennis Gardeck and a guy that can give you some pass rush, a little bit more pass rush juice on third down, we could talk about Barham from Michigan. He, I think, will be on the board at 81, maybe 88.
So at 81, though, I am going to pound the table stupid hard. Caleb Banks has managed to fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars at 81. Sorry, Big Citrus. We're getting Caleb Banks. I'm making the executive decision. This helps make up for the 30 minutes Travis spent on the first part of the show that wasn't a mock draft. And we're
with 3 third-round draft picks, I'm okay with Caleb Banks and taking that risk. Like, that sounds great.
Absolutely. If the Jaguars' first 2 picks turn into Cassius Howell and Caleb Banks, I don't care what else they pick. Well, nothing else matters.
And as we get
the pass rush is picks.
As we get set to pick here at 88, I can't help but notice the tight end position being the top here. I would have not guessed that. I'm not saying we want Eli Stovers from Vanderbilt, but it's a thought you have. Davison Igbinosun of Ohio State. I know Travis is thinking about him, and I don't blame him for doing it.
I like Malik Muhammad, even though a lot of people are real split on him too. Like, I like a lot of the guys who people are either super high on or super low on. But I like Malik Muhammad, and I like Max Clare. It's weird because Eli Stowers. I don't know how to say his name, but yes, Stowers. Yes, a lot of people like him, but he's not the guy who's going to line up as an inline tight end and dig a guy out consistently.
That was the question to ask, exactly.
I feel a little bit better about Max Clare, at least because I've seen him do it. But overall, like I don't know. Jonah Coleman is also a great option. But
I mean, go ahead and give it a scroll. But I mean, I think there's a conversation about Eli. All right, hear me out.
All right,
hear me out. All right. So he's not a great inline blocker right now, right?
Fair.
But it's not for a lack of effort. It looks like he doesn't have the strength currently. If he looks like a difference maker in the passing game, do you bet on your strength and conditioning staff to help him get to the point and teach him? Because some of it's positioning. He just doesn't even know how to like get in there. But it's not like he's not throwing. He's not going in scared. He just goes in and sometimes he loses. Like I can live with a guy. Like sometimes it's like when you evaluate running backs in college for pass blocking, is the effort there? Because sometimes they just don't know the technique of how to do it. And I wonder if, like Liam talked about it, because Ryan O'Halloran asked him about how you evaluate tight ends and blocking, and that's one of the things. It's tough. I would consider Eli for this reason. I think the Jaguars are in a decent spot where they don't have a ton of like have to get them needs. Eli would open up your offense in a different way because now you go out there, if you can get him to be a serviceable blocker, you send him and Brenton Strange out there, you could do whatever the hell you want to do and feel real good about it.
I don't disagree with you, but that's the same thing they had when they had Evan Ingram. They had the same thing, obviously way cheaper. This situation,
way
that matters.
And Evan excelled close to the line of scrimmage, where Eli excels down the field,
down the seams. Yeah,
Brenton Strange is great in the short to intermediate. Evan didn't excel down the field, so he's different than Evan in that way. Now, my argument against myself would be I don't want to draft somebody that's going to take touches away from Travis Hunter.
Exactly.
Because if I'm opening up touches and scheming touches for a guy, I want Travis to be that guy because he's that dynamic. So that would be my argument against drafting him with myself. But I do think there's at least a conversation that was worth having for how Eli could impact the Jaguars offense. Because I think the blocking stuff is legitimate, but when I watch him, I don't see a guy that's scared to go in and stick his head in there. I just see a guy that isn't strong enough right now. And he is a converted quarterback just a couple years ago. Like, the Jaguars strength and conditioning staff won strength and conditioning staff of the year, shout out. So you think them boys can't get him in there in the Iron Jaguar Challenge and put some muscle on him? I'll take that bet.
I got you. And again, I don't disagree necessarily. It's just because you're not wrong in the fact that they have to have layers. They want their offense to be made up with guys who can attack different portions of the field. If you got Brenton Strange, who's great at yak, who's great after the catch, and then you have another guy who can attack the seams, and you run a lot more 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets with Quentin Morris. You feel like you're probably in a good situation right there. I'm with you. The conversation is worth having.
My brain dances with giving Liam toys. Like you mentioned, I've watched a lot of Saints football, and like I remember Sean Payton in his heyday, the way this man ran out different personnel packages because they gave him just different toys to play with. So you run out there and you see, oh, here comes Devery Henderson, and then Devery runs right off the field. Like a lot of them didn't get a ton of run. Even the Alvin Kamara conversation, same thing. He had Mark Ingram, who in his heyday was a pretty damn good running back. So he had to do that. Can we check linebacker? Because we really need a linebacker, by the way.
And I was about to say at linebacker, Deontay Lawson is here to excite Travis.
This ain't even the question for me now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I take Lawson. I like the way Lawson
I'll
triggers
take
down.
Lawson all day.
He's a good athlete. I think he's a high quality guy from that Alabama program. If I was going to wait, I'm okay with waiting. If there was somebody else, I haven't seen anybody else while you flip through that like tickled my fancy, unless there was a corner or a safety on the board that was real good that I missed.
Well, yeah, and that with the corners were the highest ranked elements here with Igbenunson and Mohammed. But then, overall on defense, Deontay Lawson jumping off the page, and right beneath him is another corner and a safety and another corner. So I still feel like there's DBs that could be picked later, especially if you guys are excited about Lawson as you are. I think that's the consensus pick. And we'll do that.
So it was funny because I told the guys on Happy Hour Sports when we did their mock draft on last Friday that actually it just dropped today that you're always going to be a little bit screwed up, and you're going to be a little bit prejudiced by your draft board, whatever draft board you're using right now, because we're only going to look at the guys who are 15 or so picks around where you are. And we've established that these draft boards can have 1 round, 2 round differences on guys that we just don't even see on the draft board. So I would always give us that caveat, give us that out.
And by the way, Desert asks about O-line. Apparently, a lot of the tackles have moved by the time we even got into play here. But the guards are also going to be allegedly still available later down the line here. At pick 100, you still have Nawu of Oklahoma, Casey of Boise State, which that is plenty good there too. Jalen Farmer of Kentucky as well amongst the guards as well at center. Yeah, Brian Parker out of Duke, Yager Burton out of Kentucky, Matt Golbin out of Michigan State there still as well. I feel like you can float that even after pick 100 and still get a relatively good guy here as we're right at
tackle while we're at it.
Sure. And Isaiah World from Oregon. I believe that's somebody.
That's the one who got hurt in his bowl game that they were talking about was going to be a late first round, early second round guy.
Coming off ACL.
Yeah. So, but Jude Bowery of Boston College, Tristan Lee, your other tackles there. Again, guys.
Keegan Tross, that's my guy. That's my late round guy.
Keegan Tross, out of Missouri.
Tross, that's my late round guy. Yeah, man.
Starts under his belt.
But I mean, clearly we made the right move with Deontay Lawson, because at corner we still have Takario Davis to look at here at pick 100, as well as Chandler
Washington corners.
Yeah,
Chandler corners got all the traits between him and Prylock. They got all the traits. It's going to be whether or not you believe in your new defensive back coach. New defensive back coach. Your defensive back coach specifically. Either that or Charlie Dennings.
But my no matter what guy is also here too. I can't help but notice that.
Oh man, Renee Conga's also rising up the draft boards. That was my other guy who people were talking about was going to be a 6th round, 7th round guy, and now he's up in the 4th round range. Oh man,
I feel like either of these guys could still be available at 124. So if you don't go D tackle here, I'm feeling it.
We already got Caleb Banks. Like, we're probably not going the second 3 technique type option unless you're trying to go for a nose tackle type guy to kind of back up Devon Hamilton in case he gets hurt, or maybe even move off that contract if you chose to. That you'd have that option, but for not the 3 technique guys. So let's see who's all just out there generally, because this might be one of those moments. I might go with someone like Jonah Coleman. I think he's always going to be that stable guy. He's always going to be that, like, I don't know that he's necessarily going to take ownership of the backfield, but I think he's a good enough guy who's competitive enough to maybe give you a chance to. Because I liked him early in the process. I haven't looked at his stuff recently though.
He's very David Montgomery to me. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's a very physical runner. I mean, he goes for kill shots in pass pro, and if he land them, definitely physical. He's just not probably the fastest guy, but if you draft him, he can be your do-it-all kind of guy. I'm a Jonah Coleman guy. I do like Jonah. You have to be okay that he's probably not going to pop the 50-yard touchdown. Like, that's not really going to be his game. He's going to 10-20 you to death.
So I like Bud Clark as your deep safety option. I like Takario Davis.
I was going to ask about Bud. I don't hate going Bud right here.
Yeah, I like Bud Clark if you need a real Roman free safety option to take over that role from either whoever's going to end up playing it between, Antonio Johnson and Eric Murray or whatever.
Can I give you a crazy conversation since you wanted to talk about corner depth a minute ago?
Cool.
Hear me out. Draft safety, and then you allow Caleb Ransaw to compete in the slot. And then you tell Jarian that he has to go play outside if he loses.
Well, he wanted to play outside, right?
They did. There you go.
Or
and that's
you
what Caleb
tell
Ransaw
Jarian, or you tell Jarian he's playing in that slot, and you tell Jordan Lewis, we'll see what happens.
Whoa. Not my dog, Jay Lou now. Don't do that to me.
I like Jay Lou. and you know I like Jarian too. Like, I've loved Jarian since he was drafted.
Both of them look solid. I'm just saying.
Right. But at the end of the day,
I don't hate Takario Davis here either.
You got a Superman, you got a Batman.
Yeah, I would do Takario Davis myself, but where are you guys thinking here?
I think run Takario. He's built in a lab.
I'm split between Takario Davis and Bud Clark personally, because I think a Roman free safety and with that kind of athleticism is somebody that the Jaguars don't necessarily have right now. You're making do with Antonio Johnson, who's a box safety, and you're making do with Eric Murray, who's great at filling the alley. But neither one of those guys that have the range. They're just good at getting guys lined up and communicating. But I think Bud Clark gives you something different that you probably don't have in that secondary.
So Bud Clark's a better fit, perhaps, than Takario Davis is within that core.
But there could be a potentially bigger need as far as the medicals are concerned, especially this offseason at cornerback. And that's where Takario Davis comes in. Those guys aren't even going to be on the grass for the first, for much of the early parts of the offseason with Travis Hunter and Jordan Lewis. So that's why I kind of have to lean Takario Davis, unfortunately. I want it to be Bud Clark, but I don't think it's
scroll on the corner draft board just to see. I mean, if we're splitting hairs, is there a corner that we can wait on?
There's Chandler Rivers here. There's Charlie.
Yeah, I don't think he's an outside guy. Charlie Demings, maybe. Devin Moore, you could convince me. Keep going, because there was somebody else I thought I just saw. Scroll.
Devin Marshall.
Ephesians Prylak is the other guy from Washington with the exact same traits. If you can wait on him.
Cox fine. I like Thaddeus Dixon more than most people when I watch him. I don't hate Dixon.
I thought he was solid. Like, I didn't have any qualms about it. I just didn't think it was.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm in love with him, but I don't think he's going to be a bad pro when I watch him.
I got you. Like, Prylak was the guy.
I like the ball skills. I think he's a little over aggressive. But again, same thing. Somebody asked about Zane Durant earlier. I'm willing to give some guys a little bit of a pass when you're in programs where nothing goes right. Like, at some point, because there was high expectations for this guy. He had played high level ball, and then last season he was jumping passes. Like, was he playing a little hero ball because he was in a situation where somebody had to be the hero because the sky was falling. So I don't know. I mean, he's not going to come up in the run game, so I don't think he's necessarily their type of corner because he's real skinny. But
skinny, yeah.
But I wouldn't hate it when we get to round 5 or 6. You want a guy that's going to cover? I think he's one of them.
If you'll bear with me, you made the great point in saying that if there's a few guys that we could wait on, and I actually am happy to see. Like, I'm happy to see Michael Taft there, and also the fact that we still have a chance to have Isaiah World, who's coming off his injury, but you may be looking at the middle of the year, but he could be you're getting your new Walker Little option, a guy who next year could be a top tackle option available on your roster. I would be happy with that, and I think that we should go that route. And again, that wasn't even on my screen; it was just in the back of my head. Like, you ain't gonna get much better than that if you can do it.
No, I'm
so that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Take World. Run it. They need offensive line. I hate that he's not going to be available at the beginning because I think that's where they're going to need the offensive line depth. But you take the best player available and figure it out when he's ready.
So you have Cole Van Lannon, whose future is uncertain currently with injury.
Yep.
You have Walker Little, who is universally maligned, and the answer is to bring in a dude that you're fairly certain won't be available till the middle of the year to integrate into the offense at all.
Yeah, because he's the best guy. If that means you got to trap, if it means you got to draft, you got to get you a stopgap free agent guy for the early part of the season, then so be it.
I mean, this draft board is low on Markel Bell, and I just love a large human like that. Like, he's way down there. Like, I wouldn't hate Markel Bell in the 4th round.
And
listen, I'm still a fan of Keegan Trost because he's going to be playing guard in the league.
Trost. All he's done is start football games. I mean, come on now.
I love that dude. He was on my list when we talked about undrafted free agents. Like, he was on that list. Like, he had the best pro football focus run game. In the run game, he had the best pro football focus run game in this whole class. And he was 10th in pass pro.
I don't think he goes undrafted.
Yeah, but they had him on the undrafted list. Like, he was one of those guys that they were talking about. He could be 5th round to undrafted range and just keep an eye out. And I'm like, wait, let me look into this dude. And I'm like, okay. And then I saw his tape and I was like, okay, 3'11", 6'4", but he dropped 2 rounds because he's 25 years old. So that was the big thing with him. So as soon as I saw it, I'm like, all right, yeah, Keegan Trost. Let me just write that name down. All right, that's cool.
And your guy Kalon Black still might be available at the next pick. I know you're excited about that, Travis.
I'm always excited about that. But yeah, I'm just take the running backs. I'll take the running backs whenever they come. So at the end of the day, we got to make a decision. We got to get out this fourth round pick. It's a 5th-round draft.
You both said
I thought Isaiah World.
For sure.
Y'all go somewhere else. I'm gonna go with whatever Jamal goes with.
Now,
Kyle, where's the best offensive lineman on the board?
I mean, the problem with World is the injury stuff.
Do you like Jude?
What's that?
You don't make a 5-year. You don't make a 4-year draft pick for a 1-year problem.
Right.
It's going to be a 2-year problem because he hasn't been integrated into the offense.
This is true.
Yeah.
So
potentially.
And then, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about the guards here at this spot too, either. But
that's what. That's what.
I'd wait on Bo if I was looking at a guard, just looking at the names that are still on the board.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he's another run grader, another road grader, run guy. Yeah, I'm always gonna be on board with that.
All right.
But again, I like Keegan Trost because he's a road grader. Even though they have him listed as a tackle, he's a swing tackle and swing guard option. He's a lot like Patrick McCarry in that way, because he's going to be a guard in the league probably. Whereas World is a straight up tackle, and so if you draft another offensive guard, that's fine too. Like, you'll have options around the world. But again, I'm focused on big guys who can run block and make you run a lot more power, a lot more man gap. Cool.
Options around the world, exactly. I'm going to go ahead and push the button for Isaiah World in the name of time, especially since we're probably about to draft Kalon Black if Travis has his way. We can't. He got pulled. He didn't make it to 124. I'm sorry, Travis. I'm sorry to get
never bet on Black. Jesus.
Wesley Snipes would be pissed. Exactly. Takario Davis, oddly, still on the board as we start breaking 120 here. And sure enough,
Reardon
at 124, Takario Davis, your top prospect, still on the board. Eli
let me see our picks, though, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. On the board still as well, tight end Eli Reardon of Notre Dame, and then Kendrick Law at receiver, as well as Matt Golbin of Michigan State as a center, and Gage Casey of Boise State. I'm going to be looking at that one here. That's very interesting. And then Charlie Demings of Stephen F. Austin. I know that's one that Travis has talked about before.
I ain't gonna lie. That's where I'm at. That's why I'm leaning to Charlie Demings. He's the only person that I've seen have he's a small school guy, so you are betting on traits. But with both of the corners on the board right now, Takario Davis and Charlie Demings, with both of those guys, you're betting on traits, and you're hoping that they can work well in your defense. But for me, I've seen Charlie Demings' film. I've seen Takario Davis' film too, especially when I wrote the article on BigCatCountry.com. But at the end of the day, I landed on Demings had the speed, he had the aggressiveness, and when I couldn't unsee it when I saw the comp that said, all right, this dude's Gonzalez with the Patriots. If he can get the jump to competition. And that was the question. That was the biggest question on him. It's going small school to big school to the NFL. It's always going to be that jump. But if you're talking, what pick are we at? 124?
Yep.
If you believe in it, that's a traits conversation where I don't mind making it. So, but again, I'll go back to you guys and see where you guys like. Where do you land as far as maybe Devin Moore? Again, Eli Raritan. I do like him as a tight end option also.
I that's kind of where I'm eyeballing too, because I feel like the potential for Gage Casey to fall one more pick. Granted, I know the Jags don't pick again to 164. That's a long way off. But yeah, there were other guards on the board that I felt like we were interested in, and the tight end pickings are getting a touch slim, right? I mean, a lot of guys see Sam Roush getting involved in late rounds, which, could still be a thing. I know we're not going to pick 6 and 7 tonight, but I think that could be something there. If you're feeling better about Roush than you are about Raritan as a fit, I can see where you're going there to kind of stick with that Charlie Demings conversation. Jamal, what say you, buddy?
Hey, I saw Daquan Wright sitting there. I said, hey, that's an extension of the offensive line right there.
Exactly.
If you landed him. Look, if I'm betting on the corners, I'm with you that the it's always tough to project how a guy is going to scale competition, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We've seen the Jaguars take a similar bet on that in the corner before. If you remember Greg Jr., small school, the bet was that he had traits that would take the step forward. Out of the corners, I would probably lean to Cario because he has the traits and because I don't have to project how he can handle competition. I just have to project if the coaches can continue to bring those traits out on the field. Look, I mean, he's twitchy as hell. He's bigger. He comes down in the run game. There's some things he's got to clean up out on the field. Obviously, that's why he's still out on the board. But that's where I lean out of the corners. Eli Raritan, I don't hate that. I mean, he's a guy with NFL bloodlines. I think the Jaguars do need a tight end. And I think the tight end pickings do start to get slimming. Once you get past Eli, you start getting into guys, like I mentioned, Daquan Wright. He's going to be a great run blocker, but we really have no idea what he's going to give you in the passing game. I think you kind of know what you're going to get in Eli. He's going to be a guy from
Pittsburgh. I forget his name. The big
or the Pat Frymuth.
No, the big one, the ridiculous look.
Darnell Washington.
Darnell Washington. There you go.
Yeah,
that's it. That's Daquan Wright.
So I'd probably go with Raritan. I mean, I'm fine with it waiting on tight end for Wright, but I'd probably go with Raritan. You have a little bit of balance kind of there. He gives it to you.
Cool. That's my tiebreaker then. Go. Let's go. Eli Raritan.
Boom. Out of Notre Dame. Okay, so far for those listening on the podcast, Cassius Howell at 56 and edge. Caleb Banks at 81 manages to drop low enough for us to snag him there at D tackle. Deontay Lawson at linebacker. I think that if we walked away, gentlemen, with those 3 picks actually happening, it's already a successful draft. That's why I'm not mad that we didn't get Caleb Proctor at my gotta have it guy at 100. Instead, we got tackle Isaiah World, and of course Eli Raritan out of Notre Dame at tight end thus far here. So as we fall to pick 164, just missing out on Nicholas Singleton. Sorry, Travis. Sam Roush off the board at 163. Would have missed on him if we took that. So for the purposes of this draft, gentlemen, congratulations. You made the right decision from that perspective at tight end, but the top-rated guy, Malachi Fields, wide receiver out of Notre Dame here at pick 164, right behind another wide receiver, Deion Burks out of Oklahoma. Guard, Alili Fayamo out of Wake Forest. I say that name, and then I say Wake Forest wrong. What the heck? Anyways, guard out of Wake Forest. And then Jordan Hudson, wide receiver. A lot of wide receivers here out of SMU. And then Jake Slaughter, the safety, out of Florida. And of course, Travis's guy at safety, Michael Taft out of Texas, on the board here at 164 as well. Fellas, there's a lot of compelling choices here, even though it's round 5.
Yeah.
Malachi Fields?
People that,
Malachi Fields?
I mean,
Malachi?
I ain't gonna complain.
In round 5? Big, large, and he's effective on the football field. They're just knocking him for time speed. Damn that.
Damn,
Yeah,
Travis
you ain't gonna hear me complain about that one, bro.
Here we go. Malachi
Not in
Fields,
round
2
5.
Notre Dame players off the board here.
It is back-to-back Notre Dame, too. Come on now. Fighting Irish.
Oh, that's funny.
Gold helmet privilege is a thing here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a whole thing.
Not gold helmet privilege. Then we're back up, and we're already back up. But
Yeah,
now
we're back on the
I was going to say Michael Taft, and I know folks are really split on him because, well,
did we not take Bud Clark?
We did not take Bud Clark.
We did not take Bud Clark.
We do not have
talked about it.
Yet.
I wanted us to.
I
wanted us to, but we didn't.
No, you say that. I say I wanted us to, and then you turned around and said get Isaiah World. Don't play that game.
Oh no. I'm saying I wanted us to, but it was the best decision. Yeah. Isaiah World was the best long-term decision. As much as I want to with my bias about DBs, I'm aware.
I appreciate you clarifying that, sir. Thank you.
But I know a lot of people I talk to are really split on him, and that's the problem. Is because he has a lot of visibility just playing in that Texas defense. Then you either you love him or you hate him, but I think he'll be just fine. Again, if he's playing that center field position, or a lot of quarters as far as that's concerned. As long as the Jacksonville Jaguars play most of the defenses that we saw them play in 2025. Yes, I'm agreeing. I don't know. Maybe they might choose to go play more man this year, and I'm all out in the woods right now. But
with
I doubt it.
So injuries, yeah, I severely doubt they're going to be in a position to come out and play a butt ton of man. That doesn't feel appropriate.
But we can see who else is available. Because again, you're always going to be a little bit biased by the way the draft board lies for this, because we don't actually know everybody who's available right now. Nadame Tucker.
This board, I don't use
Nadame Tucker. I like Nadame Tucker, Western Michigan edge. Mm-hmm. And I know we don't necessarily need another edge. I know, but you're also in the 5th round.
Two mock drafts we've done on this show where you ended up drafting Vincent Anthony as well on the edge there, Travis. Go ahead, Jamal. What'd you say?
I said, why don't you need another edge? You lost 2 in free agency.
I didn't say we didn't need him. I'm just saying that's how many times
Travis said we don't need another edge.
Yeah, I said it. And and that was the guy who had the best pass rush analytics in this draft class. Because I always remember that. Sure. I watch film and then I look at the analytics and I'm like, oh, these man. Oh, okay. Let me take a look.
1 year production, smaller school at Western Michigan, but he's a speed rusher. Once you start getting around 5, round 6, he's a guy that you take a bet on and say, hey, can you come in and do it again? I mean, for whatever reason,
he's your DPR
in this one season.
That's it. He's your third down, designated pass rusher option, speed rusher. If you got to get a sack, he's the guy who's part of that NASCAR package. For me, that's why I'm like, all right, there we go. Timmy Devil says Vincent is.
But we do kind of need. Oh, I do like Billy Spruce. I don't even know how to say his last name. The Notre Dame guard, he's good.
Hey, listen, Shroud is Notre Dame is guard university, man. It's O-line university.
Yeah, we're not getting a third Notre Dame, but I do like it.
That'd be wild if we drafted Notre Dame like we're the Philadelphia Eagles drafting Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, that's how I feel about the Texas Tech team this year. Yeah, it's like I like Rodriguez, and then I'm like I pop back up later, and I'm like, oh. Well, man, I wouldn't hate Lee Hunter either. He falls to. I wouldn't hate Caleb Douglas. So, I keep popping up more Texas Tech guys, and I'm like, how much talent did y'all have?
As a side note,
I want Lee Hunter so much, and he's just not a need for this team that high. But also, if they drafted it, I'd be like, I see it. I'll say dominated that Oregon game.
If Lee Hunter makes it, you'll have a lot of fun talking to him. I did the same myself with his time at UCF. So. There's another reason to cheer for that, Jamal.
There we go.
Hey, Jamal, you agree with this? We don't need another edge. BJ Green and Danny Strigo showed
flashes. They have both showed flashes, but both of them were playing, and so were DeJuan Smoot and Emmanuel Ogbah. So we do need it. I mean, and here's the conversation, that part of it at the top was, there you go. Look, part of it, honestly, is if you want, and everybody has screamed it since Trayvon was drafted. Slide him inside more. Make him a defensive tackle on passing downs. Let him rush the pass. Okay, well, if you do that, then you need other guys that are taking edge snaps, because he was taking all those edge snaps. So now on third down, you got to put Howell and Josh out there. All right. So, look, I like BJ and I like Danny, but we're talking about a 5th-round draft pick. It's not like he's married to getting snaps. Either he earns them or he's on the practice squad. There's no in between.
Yeah, I agree with you. So where are we?
Check corner and safety
again.
for me though.
So corner, here's your
Not
top
corner,
corners
safety.
remaining.
Yeah, even has Kyle Masters is gone. Yeah, this is slim pickings now.
Yeah, I take it you don't like it.
And then here's safeties. So I mean, as big names go, that
Right.
I know, Taff is last safety spot.
Yeah, so we're currently at pick 166 in the 5th round for the sake of this mock draft, the last pick of our mock draft, I believe.
Mhm.
And yeah, so we have options available. Again, BJ Payne, Kansas State, Michael Taft out of Texas, Deion Burks, wide receiver. We got not a lot.
I would say this.
And he's Cooper.
Yeah,
guard
I
out
would
of
say
Miami.
this. Inez Cooper, I would wait one more pick. If he's there, I'd snag him after this. But that would be a 6th round pick at that point, obviously.
Right, exactly. That'd be your 6th round pick in the 200s, and you're hoping that he slides at that point.
Right.
So overall, if you have anybody that you want to make an executive decision, otherwise,
I know some people in the comments mentioned Jake Slaughter here as well.
Oh yeah, Slaughter shouldn't still be on the board.
yeah,
Like the rankings on this thing are kind of wacky. Like there's no way Slaughter's going to be sitting there at round 5. I just don't believe that.
but he is smaller. I mean,
he is smaller, but he was
like those prototypical Kentucky centers where they're more about the athleticism and the movement, but not necessarily about the strength.
And that's a great point. I'm trying to see if I can get his tangibles here, but I'm not seeing him. Oh, there we go. 6'5",
303.
That ain't that small for a center.
It's not like he's what was the guy, the little center, Willie Lawson? Was that his name?
That ain't.
He ain't Willie Lawson.
He was short and light.
Well, and here's what I keep trying to.
Let's see the running backs that are available.
Yeah, sure. Robert Henry, your top guy out of UTSA. Adam Randall, Jamarian Miller out of Alabama. Noah Winnington.
Le'Veon Moss.
Yeah.
Who I believe will be drafted eventually. I don't know how they have him ranked low. I believe he'll be drafted. No different than how I felt about Jamari Taylor.
Slaughter's currently my vote. Now, granted, I know there's some depth there with, Jonah's still there. Jonah Monheim.
Hainsey.
Yeah. But I think you could kick Monheim for guard depth as well. I don't think he has to play just center. I don't think Slaughter has to play just center necessarily.
All right, go back to the defensive tackles if you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't believe there's a lot here remaining. I know Corleone's here. You could probably get him later.
We got the Godfather. We ain't got to talk about this. I'm good already.
Hey,
personally,
Benny on the board too, by the way.
I believe, and I forget, Capehart's one of the big guys for one of our commenters as well, too. I believe the table pounding as well. I forget who it was that's mentioned Capehart a few times in the comments. It's one of our regulars. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting.
No, but Capehart, what, 6'4",
there we go.
Basically 6'5", 313 pounds.
Yep.
Like he ain't small, but again, if you got the Godfather as an option there, that's your backup to Devon Hamilton already. Like I feel all right with that.
Questions with him are the medicals.
And they mentioned Slaughter.
Yeah. In the
mentioning
5th round.
Slaughter playing more than one position here as well. Topley, I did that as well.
That's the only thing. I think that's pushing Dante down too, is the medicals, and I don't know if he's going to be red flagged or not. If he's not, yeah, he's worth the risk because he's your Devon Hamilton backup. I don't know if Capehart.
Well, then we'll have 2 defensive tackles with medical red flags and an offensive lineman with a medical red flag in the same draft.
This is a Trent Baalke draft class?
Yeah, this is all Trent Baalke draft.
Listen, my vote's Slaughter. I don't know where you guys are going. I'll put it that way.
I'm good with Slaughter. I'm not gonna say no.
I will let y'all get it. I'll let y'all get it 2-1. I don't care. I don't think it will happen.
Said he was a Jaguar fan growing up, so there it is. I'm good.
There's the tiebreak exactly. He used to be a fan.
Right.
That's what we need right here.
He wanted to put the jersey on. Tony keeps saying he wants guys that know the logo means something.
So they absolutely hated our Slaughter.
Hated.
By the way.
All that is our lowest graded pick. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, well, our second lowest graded, we'll go through it here for the podcast listeners. At 56, our opening pick with Cassius Howell. Our second lowest pick with only a C+. Caleb Banks, our highest rated pick, the defensive tackle at number 81, which, I mean, no surprise there. Deontay Lawson with a solid B+ at 88. Of course, is according to Pro Football Network, by the way. C+, another just absolutely hated pick with Isaiah World. I guess they're thinking we should have gotten Caleb Proctor. A plus at 124 for Eli Raridan, tight end at a Notre Dame. B+ for Malachi Fields, receiver in our back-to-back Notre Dame effort. And our final pick, because we only did 5 rounds, 166, Jake Slaughter, center/guard with a C rating overall. And that'll do it for this edition of the Mod Draft. So yeah.
So Jamal, I gotta get your thoughts, brother. Empty the notepad. Who are your undrafted free agents that are on your radar? Whether they're undrafted, whether they're 7th round guys, I don't care. The Jaguars have 3 7th round draft picks, like whatever. Just who are the guys you think just may be either on their radar or you just have on yours?
I think Christian Miller, linebacker from Maine's probably on their radar. That's the loose connection to Liam Cohen. Small school guy, highly productive, over 200 tackles. He dominated his level of play. He's probably worth a flyer in undrafted free agency. One of my recent favorites, I don't know if you – I mean, look, here's one of the question marks. If Parker's playing more on offense, do you need a kickoff returner? You go to Iowa and get you one. Caden Weegan, I mean, look, he's got one Super Bowl night, tiny, about 5'9", probably about my height. But he will return that ball. And look, when you can get a guy like that undrafted, that more than likely or round 7, that has a job the second you get him. Look, it's a game changer. We saw that what Parker Washington's returns did for the Jaguars last season. A guy like Weegan on a discount that gives you that same sort of explosiveness in the return game. That's a kind of deal that you can't miss on. I'd take him in undrafted free agency in a heartbeat. I'm trying to think if there's a couple other guys like Adam Randall's been sitting around on the borderline. He's a guy that reminds me. He's big, but I think about him similar to like Rashad Smith last year. Rashad went undrafted as a wide receiver, convert to running back, and he immediately made the Chiefs roster and was playing snaps before the end of the year because he had a skill set at the position. And I think Randall's in the same exact vein. He seems to find a way to find green grass, and he's big, and he can catch passes. So he's a guy that's going to be on an NFL roster, even if he goes undrafted, because he's going to have a skill set that they see that's tangible from day one. So, I mean, that's a couple of guys that I got that I think make a whole lot of sense.
I got you. PJ Preston says Gladstones love some undrafted free agents, which I wrote about on Big Cat Country, that Jaguars led the league in last season in undrafted free agent acquisitions after the draft with 22. And they're probably going to be top 5 this season, as I put in that Big Cat Country article, this season with around 15 to 18 expected.
We're going to sit around on day 3. Like, he's going to go, like, that was his thing with the Rams, was he dug in the bag, and he's going to dig in the bag on day 3 in undrafted free agency and go get some guys. And he's going to try and find football players. Like, I think people have risen up the board on, like, Bishop Fitzgerald out of USC now. But originally, I think last time we talked about it, people were thinking he was going to be like a late round, if not undrafted guy. But I was like, all you see is ball production. I mean, have you watched Ahmad Moses, the SMU safety?
No.
Tiny, not a crazy athlete, but all he does is find the football. And he throws that little body around.
That was Hezekiah Mass's issue, is the size. It was just the size and his vertical, but it don't matter. The ball skills was there.
If you know the ball. So Ahmad Moses is another guy that would make sense if he goes undrafted. He'll play special teams, and he's one of them guys that somehow, some way, he's on the roster, and he's going to end up playing downs. They got a lot of people low on like Cole Wisniewski, and I watch him, and I think Antonio Johnson light.
Okay.
He does a lot of the stuff Antonio does. Maybe not. He's just not the athlete Antonio is. I mean, I'm dead. There's a handful. I mean, I keep throwing names at y'all all day long of like random late round guys.
I gave my top 7 on the Big Cat Country article, so people already know at this point. We're a week out. If you're a listener who goes to Big Cat Country, like the Texas Tech quarterback, Barron Morton, Jamal Hayes, Georgia Tech, Caden Fordham, North Carolina State. Like,
hey,
again,
local guy, that's a Bowles guy right there.
Right. And Uar Bernard, the defensive tackle, the international player program guy from Nigeria.
Oh, that's the crazy athlete dude.
You got it. That's the crazy athlete dude who had a 9.9 whatever they call it, relative athletic score, because it's freaking 306 pounds, who runs a 4.6 40. Like, I'm gonna give that. I don't even got to see the tape. I'll give him a flyer in undrafted free agency.
There's your tight end, by the way. Good God.
Yeah, I already told you guys about Keegan Tross, but now as of recently, like, they're talking about he might be a 5th round guy instead of being an undrafted guy. So we'll see where he lands, the offensive lineman from Missouri, who then transferred to Wake Forest later. And Renee Conga, this whole cycle has been my main guy for this late 7th round. Louisville, 3-technique defensive tackle, and now they're talking about him potentially could be an early 6th round guy. But like, you watch his tape. Incredible pass rusher, analytics, they love him. He's refined. He's just older because he's a 6-year senior type guy. So that's going to move him down draft boards anytime. But just around 300 pounds, 6'3", he got an 81-inch wingspan. That's like the same thing as Lee Hunter. He's not small in that way. He's just one of those guys who you're going to maybe get late and can do a lot of the same things as maybe goodness gracious, who was the guy I'm thinking about? Well, what I mean, not significant difference in Robinson out of Navy also. So it's the same general conversation. Late round guys with great analytics. You're hoping that they can be a designated pass rusher or give you some good depth there. I'm cool with it.
Look, at defense, like the Georgia Tech defensive tackle, Jordan Vandenberg. He was productive in the backfield as a tackle for loss guy, but I give him the same flag that we're kind of giving to Root. They played him at a 1-tech. And he's a 300-pound dude that probably shouldn't have been playing right there. That if you let him go play where he probably should be playing, I think you're going to see a more productive player out of Jordan Vandenberg, and he's probably going to go late or undrafted. I mean, I look at a couple of the running back. Like, I might go back to Virginia Tech and take Terrion Stewart, an undrafted free agent. I mean, that dude runs hard. He's short and stocky. He's like MJD, sweet and low. But but his break tackle metrics, if you want analytics, are like out of this world. And the second you watch him, you see why. Like, he is a bowling ball who bounces off of people. Staying in the state of Virginia, Jamari Taylor, if he goes undrafted because he's not a crazy athlete, he's just productive and clean. Like, that's part of the reason why I'm not crazy high on like trading up for a running back or going to get a guy, because I think they got some decent guys that you can get off the street. I don't know that Terrion Stewart is going to be a 1,000-yard running back in the league, but would it shock me if he was a good fill-in that has a couple of like fantasy football weeks where he's the hot hand and able to go and be the fill-in guy that gives you 100 yards here or there? Absolutely
not. I would add this too. There's a lot of comments that say, we should dip to get a second nose tackle. I would remind everybody, Dante Carleon was still on the board before we maxed out. I think, like I said, I think the 6th round, pulling him in, since you forsook Caleb Proctor, much to my chagrin.
But again, we did this with no trades. Like, again, they're gonna, if the over under has to be 2 trades at least for James Gladstone on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, we've said that on the show. 2.5 is the over under for trades for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So overall, and shout out to you guys for giving us your best mocks. We didn't get a chance to go through all of them because y'all don't like to follow directions. But also giving us your favorite pick at 56. So like, we got James Goddard said, Christian Miller was his guy at 56 if they don't move. Eric Eberson says Anthony Hill Jr. John Kuiper says
Anthony Hill.
Yeah, Kyle Lewis, Preston, Caden McDonald, and the Sun-Stained Big Citrus.
Which the only reason Big Citrus wasn't an option here today is because Caleb Banks and the linebacker that we pulled was available instead there. But we did look at Big Citrus for both.
Yeah. Yeah. So like,
I don't know about
sounds
big
like y'all
citrus at
want a linebacker
56.
or y'all want some beef, but it's all defense.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from this. So I guess the Duval Devout fan base is not believing the running back rumors.
Yeah. I don't either. Yeah, I did listen. Anyways, but no, and Top agrees with me. Big citrus at 56 does seem a touch high, but I get the love. It's all good. So,
Well, it's just a thin defensive tackle room. I mean, if you want a guy, you're probably gonna have to take him decently high.
you have to reach.
I mean, because
we gotta take him early.
thins out so fast. Like once you get past Big Citrus, like I remember last year when I was saying, oh man, they got to get a backup nose, and there were a couple of guys. Like, what was the guy coming out of Oregon, Caldwell, that was like a little bowling ball, and he was playing good football for the Chargers. And I was like, oh, get him on day 3. We're good. We'll rock and roll. That guy don't exist.
PJ Brown on my page. I bet $1. I bet $1 that we draft a guard at 56. And of course, like Travis said through the super chat, thank you for that. By the way, him betting $1 makes me feel like it's going to be that much more true with all the money he won on the Jags last year.
Yeah,
so hey,
his bets are related to the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. You gotta mark that. Keelan Rutledge.
Run the pick in.
Jeez. All right, so we
take Bregnon too, the Oregon guard. I take him too. 56.
Oh yeah. I don't even mind Chase. What is it? Bisontis? Yeah. I like all the guards, basically. They're all the right types, at least. So they're not the smaller ones that's kind of just shielding dudes. And I'm biased, and Kyle has known this for a full year now, that I am biased. I don't like the shielding guards, like the blockers like the Luke Fortners. I like guys who are more powerful that's moving folks.
I wouldn't even call that a bias. You just have a preference. You want angry, mean dudes in the interior as guards. And I don't dislike it. It's where you and I begin to splinter is your conversation about safety having to be that same thing. And that just ain't it. But that's a separate conversation.
Yeah. I'm with Travis, though. Like, I like Steve Avila, and he was the Rams picked him when he was coming out. I loved him. Gladstone was there when they picked him.
That
Jake likes in regards too.
That Jake Golday drop at 56 by Timmy Devil is actually getting some support. Tapa's in here saying he digs it.
Jake Golday. Yeah, Jake Golday. I would. That's fine. Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Yeah, Tony.
Gentlemen,
don't know ball. All right, cool. We good. I'm gonna leave the memes alone now.
Yeah, I'd say. Well, listen, all the memes are coming, especially the ones that say we're done with mock season here officially on the Duval Dive. The next thing you see, the next thing you'll see is our live reactions to whatever the heck just might happen over here. Of course, look out for us. I'm sure Friday we'll have a little something to say about what the Jacksonville Jaguars do that evening. Make sure you're tuning into the Duval Dive for that. Travis will be doing a lot of lifting moving forward. We'll get to it in a second. I see it too, Travis. Travis will be doing a lot of heavy lifting this weekend because not only am I doing a doubleheader for the Magic playoff game and then the Storm Surge podcast as Orlando hosts the former stomping ground of head coach Anthony Beck, the St. Louis Battlehawks, in a huge game. That'll be crazy. Travis will have you covered there, though, for anything nutty that happens in day 3. And let me go ahead and bring it in because I saw you make a face, Travis. Tradeon Stukes.
Now I'm gonna let it go. But that's my best safety. That's my best safety of this draft class. And I don't care what nobody says. I know what the ratings say, and I know what the college tape says. But when we're talking about how they play in the NFL, Stukes is my best safety in this class. We're gonna see what the NFL's like if we're talking about projecting. We're gonna see what happens in the next few years. Huh?
Better than Downs?
Yeah.
He's down on Downs, it would seem.
It's not that I'm down on Downs. I'm high on Stukes.
I just wanted to make the
I'm just high on Stukes.
Travis,
I know. I'm high on Stukes. It's not even about the other guy sometimes. It's not no difference than saying that I'm down on Jordan Lewis. I'm not down on Jordan Lewis. I think he's freaking great. I just think there's one guy who's Superman and one guy who's Batman. And Jarian Jones is Superman right now. And that's why I feel like the slot position. I feel like that dude is playing at another level and the other dude's good. This ain't comparable. I think that he's gonna take the reins. So that's kind of how I feel about Stukes when you get into the league. But we'll see. I'm always can be wrong.
With that being said, folks, Jamal St. Cyr, News 4 Jacks. Tell the world where you can be found this fine draft season.
Well, I'm always hanging out over on newsforjacks.com. We're over on Instagram on Sports for Jacks, posting all kinds of crazy stuff. We've been doing mock drafts pretty much every day this week. But you can find me over on social. I'm at JSTCYR, J St. Cyr on just every platform.
Follow this guy on the socials. In the words of Snoop Dogg, when it comes to this man's gift game, this mother beep don't miss.
I got some stuff. I got to refill the folder, man. I got to refill it. I got some stuff bookmarked.
I like it. Travis T. Holmes, champion. Tell the world you can be found, my friend.
You guys know Travis D. Holmes on all the socials, bigcatcountry.com for all the written Jacksonville Jaguars coverage with the team, Simon SI. You got Gus Logue, obviously the manager of over at Big Cat Country. I mean, if you listen to us on the podcast side, here of the Duval Dive, please click that like button. Please comment and help us out with the algorithm. It costs you nothing. It saves us significantly. It costs you nothing but time, man. Come on, just click that button. Just one click. Duval Dive on X, Duval Dive on TikTok and all the other places. And yeah, I mean, keep this thing locked in. We'll have you guys covered through draft weekend if anything happens. And yeah, Duval. Let them know where you can be about, Nash.
Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my writings. I'm writing again. Check out my writings on your UCF Nights, covering everything in spring practice this past week on UCF Night Zone. Make sure you get a look at that. Of course, my work with Locked On UCF, keeping you up to date with the goings on with UCF sports. And of course, my work covering the UFL as well with my guy BP. We did a live remote. Yeah, hit the like button. Thank you, Timmy Devil. We did a live remote up there in Jacksonville at Fast Eddie's Quick Mid-East in your neck of the woods up there, Jamal, over by the shores of the St. John's, such that it is. So, yeah, thanks to them for that. And, hey, yeah, Storm Surge Podcast. Check that out. We'll have another episode drop Friday morning. And, of course, my work covering the Orlando Magic. I think that's everything. This is the busiest spring I've ever had, guys, and stuff. So, yeah, for the incomparable Jamal St. Cyr, for my personal champion, Travis C. Holmes, for all you Duval divers, here is the call, as Social Alki puts it: let stones cook. I think that's the vibe for everybody. So, until next time, everybody, we'll see you guys responding on Friday night. Class dismissed.